Hello, my Astro family. This is Lada from Astrolada.com, and I'm so excited to present to you a new budding astrologer who fascinated me how correctly she can predict and see the lives of random people's charts. We gave her like a test because she was one of the people who basically is going to work from us because she graduated the apprenticeship program we had last year from Astrolada with Victor, and out of 80 people we chose 4 which were the best astrologers, and Tsveti was one of them, and I'm so proud, so happy to present because she happens to be from my country as well. It was not on purpose. She was just outstanding and brilliant on every level, and I love presenting new astrologers. And it's turned out recently in the last 1 or 2 years that the younger, more budding astrologers are more correct and less conditioned and can like more intuitive and more to the point, and they have been having the best reviews than any other astrologer. So I'm so excited to present beautiful Tsveti here, and she will be presenting to us the topic of career. And I know right now this topic is very important for us, the mission in your life, mastering the midheaven, the astrology, your purpose, the highest thing you can achieve, the highest thing your soul is called to do here. What God, the highest point, the midheaven also represents God in ancient astrology because it's the highest we can reach out, your highest potential. And Tsveti will explain to us this because in the middle of these times, so many of us are wondering, really, what is it? What is the purpose of my life? Where should I go? Should I continue in this rat race? Is there something bigger I'm here to do? And Tsveti will talk to us about that. Hi, my beautiful Tsveti. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy that you're on the team. And by the way, Tsveti also offers such readings. They're 50% off. This is her first promotional reading. It's going to be 20 to 30-minute recording for just $80 on vocation and career. So, hi, Tsveti.
Hi, Alana. Thank you so much for this great presentation. And yeah, to tell you the truth, I never believed I will be here recording with you, but well, it happened. And I really want to express how grateful I am to Victor because he supported me so much, and the apprenticeship program is great. Really, I have learned astrology before. I actually started with astropsychology at first. But then, yeah, Victor showed me and taught me so many things I really didn't know before. So yeah, I really want
especially the predictive part, and
yes,
but
predictive and everything.
I remember when you had your test with us and we gave you a horoscope, you didn't know whose it was, and you described the person's husband, their career, you described all the type of relationship she was having. I was like, no, she must know that. And Victor says, I don't know, but I don't think she knows who this is. And we were really amazed how correct you did. So here you go, you have the stage.
First I want to start with what we are going to look in a chart when we talk about career. And just wanted to say that many people start with the second house because it's set to rule money. But yeah, actually the second house is more about our attitude to money. So I wouldn't be looking at the second house as the first point of reference in a chart. And I also want to say that I work with the whole sign system. And the reason behind this is that the midheaven can fall in a different house. So I will not be looking only at the 10th house and its ruler, but also at the midheaven as a separate point in the horoscope, which is very important because if the midheaven falls into the 9th house, it would say something else, while in Placidus, it will always be the 10th house. Mm-hmm. So this is why I like to use the whole sign system with this kind of readings. And I will also be looking at the midheaven itself and the ascendant, because actually it's the ascendant to say yes or no to what the midheaven has
yes, because
chosen.
ascendant is me, it's the person. So
yeah.
God has
So
not planned for you. Your full potential is to be a psychologist, but you're like, no, I want to make money. I want to be a banker.
yeah, I can imagine, for example, someone having a stellium in Capricorn in the 10th house. And we will say, well, this is a great chart for a politician or someone of high status. And then the ascendant is in Aries in that case. And the ruler will be Mars in, let's say, Cancer. And Mars in Cancer will not choose to be a politician, I think, because
I want to raise babies and be a
yeah,
nanny.
it will be more family oriented, and it will have a totally different idea about how to proceed in life. And yeah, so yeah, and also the 6th house is very often related to work, but it actually would show more our work routine, and not it will not be a significator for how much we are going to earn, or what we are going to work, except in the cases when we have many planets in the 6th house, let's say, and then it will be a significant point in the horoscope. But yeah, it's always important to look at the whole chart so that you can see the whole hologram and see how each planet combines with the others. And I actually have a chart where we can discuss, and I can show you how exactly it works. I can share my screen.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Let me just see how this happened. Okay. Share screen. And then Astro. Where is it? I'm sure I have it, but I'm not sure. Here it is. It will come in a second. This, yeah. Can you see it?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so this is the example chart I chose for today. Actually, Victor helped me with it because it turned out that not so many people were willing to provide their charts to be publicly discussed. So Victor helped me here again. I thank him so much. So just to see what will happen if we only look at the 2nd house for money. We can see in this chart that the 2nd house is in Gemini, and we know that Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And in this chart, Mercury is placed in the 7th house. So this will actually show, looking at Mercury, we can assess it. It's in the 7th house. This is a cardinal house, an angular house. It's a strong house. But regarding the sign, it's in Scorpio, so it's not that strong. And also it has a square to the moon. I'm also looking at the aspects, at how the planet is aspected. So it's not that so promising about how much money the person will make. So if we only look at the 2nd house and its ruler and the placement, we may think and mislead ourselves that this person is not really going to make much money. But then I think that, and in order to see how much money a person can make, we should look at the 2nd house from the 10th house, which is the 11th, or from, yes. So, and then we can assess the ruler of the 11th house instead and see if the person has any potential.
You know, this is that when often people ask, what's the difference between 2nd and 11th house? Because they're kind of, and I say 2nd house is your net worth. And net worth is like, and the 11th house is your cash flow. What's the difference? 2nd house is like, you get like a bottle of water and fill it with water, and you keep this bottle of water and you have it stationary there. The 11th house is you have a sink and you can start it every time you want and get as much water you need. So the 11th house is how much you can produce like income to like create a value, so to speak. The 2nd house is how much you can keep as a net worth? Are you investing your money wisely, or are you just letting them sit in the bank? But you might be making 3 million per year and just not, not using the second house to invest them super wisely, but you still have those 3 million per year. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
The house is the cash.
Yes.
Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, it's thank you. Yeah, it's a great addition. So yeah, and looking at the 11th house, it's actually in Pisces, and it's ruled by Jupiter. I work with old rulers. I don't work with the modern ones because they work greatly. And so the ruler of Pisces will be Jupiter, and it's in the 6th house of work routine. So only having Jupiter as a ruler already is a promising position. Because Jupiter is expansion, and it would say a lot about being able to accumulate money in the chart, because it rules the 11th house. And we see that the 6th house is full, actually.
It's a
So
workaholic person.
yeah, it's in Libra, and the ruler of Libra is Venus, so it has the ruler in the 6th house as well, which is another very good sign of this person being able to earn money. So we have Saturn there as well, in conjunction with Jupiter and Pluto. So we have a whole stellium. It's a very highlighted house in the person's chart. And after assessing the planets and their positions, we can say that actually this person has quite a good potential to make money, to earn, to have cash inflow, so to say. And yeah, in comparison to the 2nd house and its ruler, it's quite a different picture. So it's for me, it's always very important to look at several indicators and to compare how it goes.
I already see in this person's chart 2 wealth yogas. Wealth yoga is a combination in ancient astrology that use whole sign house system, where if you combine the rulers of the 1st, 11th, 9th, or 5th, or 2nd together, in any combination, even oppositions or conjunctions, you get wealth yogas. And the more you have of those, the better the possibility of person of creating wealth. And she has the ruler of the 1st, Venus, conjunct the ruler of the 9th, Saturn, 1 wealth yoga. The ruler of the 1st, Venus, conjunct the ruler of the 11th, Jupiter, 2 wealth yogas. The ruler of the 11th house, Jupiter, conjunct the ruler of the okay, so that's for it. That's for now. But it's basically conjunct Saturn, the ruler of the 11th, conjunct the ruler of the 9th, so 3 wealth yogas. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to plug this in.
Thank you. And also, Saturn is known to be a malefic planet, and even though it's a malefic planet in this case specifically, it will not hurt so much because it's exalted in Libra. So yeah, by house position, Saturn doesn't like the 6th house, but still it's exalted, and it will not be so hurtful to the other planets.
Yes, and this basically the rule of the 11th of gains conjunct Saturn exalted means this person will have to work very hard for her gains, but she will have such a great what's that called, like hardworking etiquette, which is Saturn, that this will basically due to that she will generate wealth, because an exalted planet lifts up and improves with its conjunction any planet that is around it, even if the other planet is weak. It's like having a morally strong person, and when someone is around that morally strong person, they can pick up the other person as well and make them a bit better. So
yeah,
I'm curious what this person works at the end, if you tell us.
Well, she has actually, this is a woman, and she has actually worked a few things, but they are all very well seen in the chart at one point.
Okay.
Yeah. So After analyzing the condition of all the planets, in his course, Victor gave us a great checklist. So we go through the checklist and always check the condition. What's the natal promise, so to say? If the person has this wealth yoga says you said, and will they work for them? So after analyzing the ruler of the ascendant, because I said I will be looking at the ascendant, its ruler, and the MC and its ruler. The ruler of the ascendant is Venus, and the ruler of the MC it's Saturn. So after analyzing these two planets, one of them is domicile, the other one is exalted. Jupiter is nearby, which is a very good sign. And also Jupiter has good trines to the moon. And which is very close to the MC, and the moon is actually the ruler of the part of fortune, which is a significator for wealth, where wealth comes from in our chart. So it has an even stronger influence, not only that it's close to the MC. And then we see that we have very strong planets, and a very good sign is that they actually meet in the chart, that there will be a meeting point between them. So there will be, after all, a profession or something that this person will really like to do and will have fun doing, and will also be able to earn money, because Venus also signifies money. It's the ruler of money in general in the chart. So
they're calling Saturn, the ruler of the midheaven, is joined or aligns with what they want to do, the ruler of the first, Venus. In that the sixth house of service,
Yes, in the sixth house of service, exactly. So so we can see that actually the rulers have very good aspects, and they are in a good position, they are strong. So we can expect that this person will really earn good money from the career they choose. And also with the moon in Capricorn, they will be driven to earn good money, because Capricorn is very much driven to, it's an earth sign. So earth signs are very much material oriented, so, and results oriented. So they will surely pick a career where they will want to see results. If they don't see any results, they will just drop it. Just like it happened with this lady. The first career she picked, she actually dropped it because it was not so resourceful. It wasn't so beneficial in terms of money. Mm-hmm. So she actually, the first thing she learned, studied, and started working, because she was a teacher at the nursery school. And we can see that because the part of fortune is in the third house, which actually rules nurseries, schools, communication, and its ruler is in the ninth house of teaching, right? So, and it's also in the MC, a possible career of teaching, teaching to young people. Because the third
in Vedic astrology, Cancer is nurseries, because you're like the mother there. You're not like nurseries when you're basically 1-2 years old, and that's again makes sense. The south, the part of fortune there.
Yeah, and when you said the south note,
sorry,
but it's, you know, in Bulgaria we say the mistake is correct. The lapsus lingua, I mean, when you said the south note, look at her north node. It's in Leo, and it rules children, creative energy. So it maybe also has something to do, because, you know, and it's in the fourth house, which is ruled by Cancer. So the moon, again, it's really important in her. It's again highlighted. I haven't looked into this before, but now that you said so, I just looked at it, and yeah. So yeah, this person's first career was actually a nursery teacher, and it has significators and indicators that she will be good at it, because yeah, she will earn money from it, but not enough. So she dropped it. And I was also looking at this sixth house. It's full. She has a stellium there of 4 planets. So it is definitely something really important, which takes my attention. And I will definitely look at it in any chart when there is a stellium of planets. And because the sixth house rules service, healthcare, and her second job, she is it's very interesting how she combined Venus and Saturn, because she's an orthodont. She eats. Yes.
Oh, so she's a medical.
So she managed to combine the harmony, looking for harmony, beauty of Venus. These are Venus qualities, wanting to make things better, to look good, with Saturn, which rules teeth. And it's so literal.
In the sign of beauty, Libra, in the sixth house of medical profession. It's perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah. So her second job was really so to the point. And actually, she has Jupiter in the sixth house. And my observations about Jupiter is that it very often makes the person very to want to change things, to want to expand, and very not impatient, but very searching. And just like her, she actually chose a third job, despite the orthodont job gave her quite a good income, actually. She was not satisfied, and because Jupiter has 12-year cycles, I was thinking about it, how she changed jobs so often. And maybe, I don't know exactly when this happened, which years she changed, but maybe it has something to do with Jupiter's cycles. Because when Jupiter returns, it gives us a new field to develop. So this is what happened to her, and she actually requalified to a yoga teacher, which is really.
I was thinking that she'll be good at that with this powerful house, which is again holistic healing of any sorts, and Jupiter is as well in Vedic astrology. It rules like yoga and things like that, because it's a combination of spiritual knowledge with. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, and again, it's very literal for me, because Venus in Libra, it's about balance, and Saturn, it's about the posture of the body, how we stand, how we walk. It's the posture, the body posture.
Yeah,
and because it's in the sixth house, it's healthcare routines, lifestyle, so all those daily routines as well. And and with the moon on the MC, it's about teaching in the ninth house and taking care of people as well. So it's again a very literal job for me, to be a yoga instructor. And also Jupiter, it's the ruler of the eighth house as well.
That's what I was looking at. And Mars and Neptune is very yogish as well. Mars, physical activity in Sagittarius, sign of belief systems or spiritual activity connected to some deeper belief system, with Neptune, with spirituality. And in the eighth house of the house of Kundalini, and the house of moving the energy of the body through the chakras.
Yes, and also the eighth house is the house of pregnancies, and she's actually doing prenatal yoga.
Oh, beautiful.
So this is the chart example I wanted to share with you, also I can actually demonstrate how it works. And
I know this girl. Victor has told me she gets like thousands of people on her seminars. She gets like...
I can imagine it looking at her chart.
Yeah, wow.
Awesome. So she's like a magnet for money, I would say.
But
because
indeed, yeah, and those stelliums, they always speak so much to you. Like, look, everything in her job that she's successful is so sixth house, like health, rebalance, Libra, rebalance, beauty and health, sixth house. So it's
yeah.
perfect.
Yes, it just worked perfect for her.
Thank
So
you, Tsveti.
yeah.
Do you
Um,
have, like, can you walk us through the different meanings of the midheaven?
when it's in a different sign, you mean?
Have you prepared for that, or?
I prepared for if you have a planet
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
on the midheaven, but yeah,
Yes,
it's
that's great. Yeah, if you have a planet on the midheaven.
I can say something about the midheaven signs, but maybe by element and modality, because going through each sign it will be I don't know, maybe it's so you can read so much about it
Yeah, I guess so.
everywhere. Yeah, so maybe just saying that depending on the element of the MC of the midheaven, um, people will be like will have different focus on where to develop and how to develop. So if, for example, the midheaven falls in a fire sign, the this person will be striving for a more uplifting career, all about fire, more dynamic type of career. They will want a leadership position, and yeah, they will be very ambitious,
The
just
fire.
like fire. They will try to, yeah, to expand. And while if it's in an air sign, which will be Gemini, maybe I should tell them, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, then this person will be much more about communication, television, all these mercurial careers like technology, new ideas, developing new ideas. They will be very much related to careers which would require thinking, a lot of thinking and communication. So bringing information from here to there, just like the air would be doing. Yeah, and so as both air and fire are hot energies, actually, these kind of people, they will want uh, front-facing careers, somewhere where you can go and meet people, real people, not being behind the scenes and hiding somewhere behind, like, for example, the water signs would love to do. Because here water signs are much more introverted. And there is a reason behind this, because water signs are very emotional, they're very empathetic, and meeting people on a daily basis, lots of people on a daily basis, can be very tiring for them, because they're like kind of cleaners. They
I
absorb the emotions of others, and then they have to clean them out of themselves. So there is a logical explanation behind this, searching for a more behind the scenes career.
That's
And
because I have my midheaven in Scorpio, and I've never liked I've never liked working with people one on one, and I don't like doing personal horoscopes either. I'd much rather record it alone, and I like hiding behind my laptop. And I did meet people for the first time, and it was hard. It was a challenge for me. So yeah.
I can imagine. I have my ascendant in Scorpio, so I'm, yeah, very much behind the scenes as well. But my midheaven is in Leo, so
You
I
have to
have to
be
work
public.
on that. Yes.
You have to be public. I'm forcing you now.
Okay,
It's like
no.
that
I
the
think,
sorry.
hmm? No, sorry, you go.
It's almost always that the midheaven is square the ascendant in most cases by sign.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting just looking at it philosophically, that we're comfortable with one thing. This is who we are, the ascendant, and for God to develop our highest potential, we really have to challenge ourselves, which is the square sign. In order to develop our high potential, we really have to overcome things that are not usual for us. And some people, like this person whose chart we're looking, she has the ascendant in Earth and the midheaven in Earth. These people integrate more easily the roles that they have to take in society and the roles that will bring them the biggest success. It kind of flows more easily with them. Or even people who have the ascendant here and the midheaven in the 11th house, also they can integrate it more easily than people who have the ascendant here and the midheaven in the 10th house, because there is this clash of elements.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Like a representative of this clash. I need to live with it every day. So, but it's manageable. There are some. If you look at the good aspects, they will show you how to ease off a little bit the tension, because it's tension. And actually, I think that hard aspects and tension is actually what makes us grow. So yeah, at this point of my life, I can say I am grateful about any square I have in my chart, because it's actually the reason why I grow. So yeah. So I think I wanted to add that if you have a midheaven in a water sign, you can very well be in a healing career, because water signs are very healing. They have this healing energy. And anything that requires being empathetic and feeling the other person and intuition and all those kind of jobs and careers. And lastly, we just like the chart that we have, if you have the MC in an earth sign, then you will be looking for more stability. You will be looking for the material manifestation of things. And this will be your inner drive to choose a career. This will be a very important factor when looking for a job, the material side of things. While with the water signs, it's more the part is much more important, how you're gonna interact with the people on an emotional level and how you're gonna feel about it. So it's much more about this, while the earth signs are very down to earth, especially Capricorn. And but also Taurus and Virgo.
Who do you think are the most loved bosses? If you, because then your midheaven will show how you're as a boss as well. Do you think people?
The most bosses.
Which of the four elements? I know it's very personal whether you have some hard planet in the 10th house or no, but it's like I've noticed because I'm water signs, then I form very intimate relationships with everyone that I work with. It's like we talk about their life problems, like how are you, is your coach, is your wife well? It's like we're like a family rather than
which is great. And but of course it has its positive and negative sides, you know. Being a family with your boss can be, you know, a little bit tricky sometimes, because you need to have some borders, limits, and to know, and water signs, they tend to be like merging with the others, and it's difficult to set limits. Maybe Scorpio is a little maybe Scorpio has the limits, but even Scorpio are very much maybe they have different motives to do it, all three water signs, but I think that water signs are very much
they infiltrate
merging with
as
the
bosses.
Yes.
So they work so they can control them at the same time, but they're like, oh, sweet and loyal and emotional. All right.
Yes.
Fooling
Okay. And and the earth signs, they will be very like straight to the point. I want this, this, and this, and they will be looking at results, and they will probably be very much driven by what you achieved. But then they will not be looking at if you have some emotional issue. They might give you a day or two, but then they will be expecting you to pick up your stuff and just do it. They don't care about the personal matters so much. And the air signs.
With a Scorpio there, it's so funny because I always bond much more with the people I work with as a boss. You know, I'm looking as a boss or someone who has their own business when they have crisis. Like one of the people I work with now, she's going through an abortion. Another one is going through a divorce. So I'm like, I'm there for them always in those crisis moments as a Scorpio boss. And that's my most bonding experience with, you know, and a lot of my career is focused on trauma, like astrology, you know, the death and the
Yeah,
conspiracies.
but also focused on helping other people to transform.
I hope so, yeah. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm focusing too much on myself now. Let's carry to the other part of the presentation. If you want, you can stop that so you don't share the screen, or do you have more things?
Okay, yeah, I can really.
I can see you full.
How do I stop it? Um, I am not sure how to stop it. Should I just press pause? Let's try. Okay.
You have to press stop. Okay,
Yes,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So I was also thinking about saying a few words about if you have any planet close to the MC, to the midheaven.
Yes.
Of course, it is very individual for each chart. You cannot say in general that, for example, having Saturn near the MC will make you 100% very focused on your goals, because because yeah, if Saturn has some aspects, it might be influenced by the other planets and other houses, and yeah, but yeah, I can go through the planets on the MC in
And I
general.
want to point out what Tsveti is saying. She's saying not in the 10th house. She's saying near the MC. It might be before the MC, it might be after, but I would say if it's within 20 degrees of the MC on either side, it's very powerful. So this
Yeah,
is a
I
planet
would
that
even say in the
yeah,
same sign, maybe
in the
even.
same sign, yeah. But I've also seen if the MC is in another sign, but the planet is within 7, 8 degrees or even 10 from another sign, it also can become the major career of the person.
Yes, true. But maybe if it's an out of sign, I would say not more than a 10 degree or
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. So I will start with Saturn because I somehow, you know, I want to get rid of the malefics and then I will continue with the good ones. This is just yeah, a joke, but so Saturn can give a very disciplined and very focused attitude towards career, and because the MC is also how other people see us, it can make us look like very serious people, very down to earth, very goal oriented, and being able to manifest through effort our goals. So it's like the mantra: success requires effort. In this case, you always need to put effort in order to get success. And yeah, it can also, on the negative side, give some blockages and make you work 3 times harder than other people would work to achieve certain position or status. But and because this is Saturn, I think that people will probably develop their career at a later point in their life because Saturn brings delays very often. So maybe at about surely after the Saturn return, but maybe even later, at about 36, or when the North Node also makes a second cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Sometimes even peak in the second Saturn return. That's I've seen often Saturn on the 10th house because on the midheaven that they really peak then.
Yeah, they're like the late bloomers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for anybody who has a Saturn on the midheaven or near the midheaven, anything related to manufacturing, merchandising will be good. And any profession that requires traditional approach to things. Also executive leadership, because Saturn is the leader. And anything related to science as well would do.
Yes, that's something that is regimented, control, has rules. It's not like fluid, you can change it all the time. It's very Saturn, like old school or institutionalized, institution-like.
Yeah, or anything that needs to be built up from the basics. So a self-starter would be a good idea probably for Saturn on the MC.
Yeah, maybe someone in real estate as well, that's building the real estate. Wow.
Yeah, especially if it's in Cancer. And the good positions. Yeah, it's always a combination. It's very hard to just this planet or that planet. And it's good to work with examples, but so more or less this is the general about Saturn on the MC, and I will continue with Jupiter. Just so anybody having Jupiter on the MC can be a great teacher for sure, because Jupiter is actually the guru, the teachers, and
you see, you're natural. You have Jupiter on the MC, and it's the first time you even go live, and you're teaching us already.
Maybe yes, but it's
I feel nervous. Don't worry, you're doing great.
But also Jupiter on the MC can make you a little bit greedy and wanting it all and now, a little bit impatient. So I think that people with Jupiter on the MC, they need to learn to be patient. This will be very important for their career, and also to learn to set goals and follow them step by step. Not wanting to achieve everything now, from now till tomorrow. I have to earn 1 million. You have to start with small steps, and this is very difficult. They have this.
That they often do it though. They often can do it because, especially if they really believe it, sometimes if the horoscope is well arranged and supported, they can actually make it really big.
Yes, it's of course, on the positive side, it's an absolute sign for luck, growth, expansion, and on the more practical level, it's all about travels, because Jupiter rules the 9th house and Sagittarius, and it's all about adventures, different religions, philosophies. So higher education, so being a teacher, a guru, presenting your ideas to big circles of people. So I think that
visionaries as well. I also think I've seen a few consultants that are like, they're like coaches to the businesses. Like they'll say like, they evaluate the business, say, this is how you're gonna grow it, this is what you need to do to take you a step further and such. Like
and Jupiter is the judge as well.
Judges,
so they can be great judges as well.
Humanitarian. Jupiter is very humanitarian sign. Like Angelina Jolie has Jupiter conjunct the midheaven, and she, she's doing so much for charitable work as well.
Because Jupiter also rules Pisces, and Pisces is the 12th house. It's charitable work, working for causes, different, and so helping out others, and it's exactly. So what about Venus on the MC? It will be all about beauty, harmony, and people will see you as a very beautiful, harmonious person. But Venus also rules money, so anything related to stock markets, financials, of course, art and fashion.
And one stylist, fashion designer.
Stylist, yes.
Then Castro is amazing.
And because Venus is also the ruler of Taurus, not only Libra, then anything related to agriculture and food industry will be.
Restaurants, famous chefs with good palate that deliver beautiful, beautiful pieces of food, addition.
Yeah. And because Venus is the natural ruler of money and finance in the chart, it can also be anything related to accountancy, doing the books of companies. So, yeah.
And I've seen also luxury products. Venus is like entertainment,
Yes.
anything that people enjoy, even beautiful courtesan or fashion model or someone that is in anything to do with holidays where people go and enjoy themselves and, you know, such type of.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
and Venus is consulting as well. Venus is someone who can advise you, financial planner, for example, or relationships, someone who can teach you about relationships better.
Yeah. And I will just go back to Saturn for just a while because it occurred to me that Saturn also rules antiques. So if you have Saturn close to the MC, it could also indicate such a profession with antiques and old
Something
things. So that is
old. Yeah.
renovating old stuff or buying, because Saturn means cheap, buying something cheap and then renovating it and selling it for more, like houses
Anything
and,
like
you know, all these kinds. Yeah.
perfect, yeah. And Saturn rules also rubber, trees, rocks, rules mines, coals, petroleum, a lot of those things as well. If people, you know, if people have Saturn, they can. I'm not talking about investing money in that. I'm talking working with those things. I even geologist. He was a scientist of rocks. Saturn conjunct the midheaven. Sometimes it's just so obvious.
Yeah, we only need the ascendant to agree. Because yeah, because if the ascendant doesn't like it, then yeah, they need to be in agreement with each other so that it's successful. So I will proceed with Mars, and it will give a great ambition to the person because Mars is very ambitious, and it will be Mars is also rules sports, athletes, entrepreneurs, anything related to Aries, being the first one to set the basis, to do something for the first time, to be the pioneer, the first, and Mars also rules psychology because it's the ruler of Scorpio as well. So it could also mean like a surgeon of the psychic, and
Yeah.
also a surgeon.
Oh yeah, exactly. Surgeon or intervention psychologist, someone who comes says enough with the shit. This is enough, and let's change that. And Mars is innovator, people that innovate things.
Yeah.
It's Saturn is the old, Mars is the new, so something like that.
And all kind of intelligent services, I would imagine, because Scorpio, you know, and anything related to detective work, to digging deep, yeah, and also arms and weapons, armed forces, a military career, yeah, and fitness, engineering, and
Engineering, exactly. Working with tools, sharp tools of any sort. With
yeah, and because it also rules death, maybe funeral industry. So yeah, it's a bit. I didn't know if I wanted to mention it because it sounds so creepy, but still, it's a possibility, and there are people who work that. So yeah, why not mentioning it? And yeah, so Mercury. What if we have Mercury on the midheaven? It's Mercury is all about communication. It rules. It's the ruler of Gemini and the third house, and the Virgo and the sixth house. So it's all about television, communication, speaking, sales, internet, anything related to data, to analyzing data, and also media, marketing, advertising, and anything. When it's on the Virgo sign, then it's all about lifestyle, daily routines, healthcare.
Planning,
Yeah.
managing, organizing.
Yes,
They're good
yes.
managers. Yeah.
Yeah, attending to details. Anything
Accountant,
that requires accountant, yes, why not?
numbers
Uh,
people, books people. Yeah.
yeah, Virgos are the greatest accountants, I think, but they're the good ones. If you want um, second, how is it called in English? If you want a second book, which is in the shadow, you need to get a Scorpio. You know, they're to work in the gray zone. If you
Oh,
want
you
to work in
to,
the gray
to,
zone, your accountant should be a Scorpio because they will be able to
hide
have,
your taxes and
yes. But if you
oh,
want
that's great.
everything to be straight to the point, you need to hire a Virgo.
No, we want Scorpio accountants.
So yeah, um, and maybe I should have started with the sun
No, it's
to, but yeah, because it's the planet which actually indicates our mission and what we signed for to 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 come to Earth. Because every planet in our chart actually works for the sun to complete the mission of the sun. And at one point, when we develop all other planets, then the sun also starts developing. It happens at a later point in life when the sun starts developing, but yeah. So
that's
if we have
something
the sun,
you said that
sorry.
I've noticed the same, and that you start developing your sun in the later point in your life. This is very good point. Um, you know, you can have some traits of your sun, but I seen that only after 30 or even a bit later, your sun quality starts really coming up. Before that, it's almost like many times people work in the shadow of the sign or in the shadow of the opposite sign. For example, if
Yes.
you're Aries, if you're not showing your Aries qualities, especially while you're younger, you're showing the negative qualities of Libra. You're a pleaser. If you're Pisces and you're not showing the Pisces qualities of, you know, spirituality and healing, you can be obsessive cleaner, the negative of Virgo. And then once you grow into those qualities, my God, this is when life starts feeling so good. You feel so authentic. When I started finally acting like an Aries, it was wow. And it comes later. It comes with your mission through your career, and it's such liberation. So yeah, sorry to
It's
interrupt.
so true. I'm actually a Pisces sun, so I only dare to start working on spiritual matters in my, late 30s. So
What?
yeah,
You look like you're a baby. You look like 24.
you're younger than me, Lada.
What? What's
Yes,
your ascendant? What is that ascendant
Scorpio.
that has no age? It's ageless. Are you in your second or third life now? Or kind of
I
vampire?
don't know. I haven't counted them from one point.
What is it? You in your 40s or what?
Yes, I am 40.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
That's Pluto ascendant. It's like regenerates itself. Like your cells die and recreate themselves over and over.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Shit, that's amazing. Sorry.
It must be genetic. I don't know.
Hmm.
Who knows?
Carry on. Sorry.
But I started feeling my sun sign later, much later in life. I have always identified with my ascendant. And because there many people keep asking if the ascendant is actually more active in the first or the second part of your life. I have read both indications, but for me personally, from my personal experience, I think that the ascendant is much more active in the first part of our lives,
Absolutely.
and then the sun becomes.
Absolutely agree with you, because the ascendant is the physical, and we're integrating the physical in the first part of life, and then we're going towards the more finer levels, which is the sun, is the spiritual. So it's much easier to do the, yeah, anyway. So,
Yeah.
so you carry on moon and sun we have, conjunct the
Yeah, for the sun, it's all about leadership positions because the sun is, the leader, the king, so to say. I would strongly advise, and it happens naturally. I think that people who have sun on the midheaven, they usually have their own business. They are not, yeah. Uh, it's hard for them to work for others, so to say, because they cannot follow other people's rules. They have their own. So also anything related to acting, performing, anything related to the Leo sign who wants to have fun and yeah. So also anything related to positions of authority like governmental positions, political positions are
political
very, yeah.
politics. I've seen that very often. The sun in the sign of the midheaven or close to it. That's very, yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
such people have quite dominating fathers. Their fathers was someone big shot or something. They were overwhelming sometimes, even. And
yeah, and this is why these people they need to become to prove their authority, because maybe in the early ages they weren't able to have this authority in front of the father, and it was always the father who was dominating. So they really have this inner drive to finally shine and appear on the scene.
my husband has the sun in his 10th house conjunct the midheaven. I'm like, he was always like kind of more shy, quiet, and his father is out of this world. He's the biggest businessman in town. He's like show off, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you not like your dad? And he was like, I don't know. And I'm like, you're supposed to be a boss. Why you not? And now, because he's much younger than me, he's only 33, and he's starting to step into this role. And I'm starting to see this person awaken. And when you step into the role of your son, or into the role of the planets in your 10th house, wow, you start shining, and it's great. I mean, probably when he's 60, I'll finally see that.
Maybe earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe even earlier. Yeah, I think that maybe at the age of I think that the age of 36 is a really turning point in a person's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think the insecurities, Saturn matures in Vedic astrology at 36. These are our insecurities. And at that point, we start becoming more accepting of those insecurities, and a shift starts happening.
yes, and it's also the turn Jupiter returns. So we have had the chance to try things out. We went through 2 cycles of
Oh, three,
development. 3, yeah, this will be
I
the
think,
third one
yeah.
actually. So we went through all these cycles and tried ourselves at different um, uh, things. So we become more mature because of our experience, of course, but also the nodal returns happen at that time around. So a lot of things happen at the age of 36,
Yes,
37.
very pivotal age.
Yeah, it's pivotal, I think. Yeah, it's very important time. So if we have the moon on the midheaven, just like we had that example in the chart I shared with you, um, it's very important which sign it is in and what it rules, because the moon is very changeable, it's very emotional. So the sign will be really important here. But still, if you have the moon there, anything related to healthcare, taking care of people, real estate.
Bill Gates has the moon conjunct the midheaven. He's decided to take over the healthcare of the world and save the world like a mother hen.
Yeah, maybe he believes that.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yes.
Otherwise, who would be so crazy to go
Yeah.
all out like him?
Yeah, yeah. But any planet which is on the midheaven is very prominent in the chart, because the midheaven is the highest point in our horoscope. So it's not so difficult to get misled by these planets' qualities. And yeah, like in the example you gave, maybe people can forget who they are and what they are. Yeah, because this planet takes over, especially if it's in a very strong sign. It is possible to take you over and
Oh,
so you forget about your mission, why you're here, and you stop developing. It's especially if you have the North Node there. It's like you crave it, and yeah, it always depends on the chart. But with the Moon, I think it's a very tricky one because it's very emotional. It somehow makes you do it, and it's not so. It's very because the Moon rules our subconscious. It's on a subconscious level. It's like not so visible to us.
It's a subconscious drive that you feel compelled from the
Yes,
depth of the psyche,
compelled.
like a compulsive carer. Like such bosses are very loved with Moon conjunct the 10th house. Like they all like uh, their career and is their family. It's like it's their whole life, personal life out there. They combine their personal life with their career somehow, and it's very exposing. Must be very raw to have the Moon on the 10th house cusp, like your private feelings splattered all over in the public eye, your private life.
And now imagine if it's in Scorpio, it will be really bad, where you want to fight everything, and it just doesn't happen because everybody's able to see it. So it will be really frustrating. Yeah. So, but I believe that any position in our charts has its true purpose and meaning and reason. And usually, if we have really difficult charts and aspects and everything, they somehow appear to outbalance something in the chart as a whole. So, yeah.
I absolutely believe that. It's, often a lot of the things we have in our life that we think it's our biggest curse that we're fighting our life with, it might be even some addiction or illness, is there to offset to something that if we did not have this illness or addiction or issue or fetish even, that it would actually it would skew the chart so badly, and maybe you'll do a lot more damage. One day I'll give you examples, maybe with videos, with the video and with charts, which is fascinating how actually some of the things that we think we're most ashamed of and we hate the most, they're the thing that is saving us. So people stop feeling guilty or shameful about that, because God has perfectly balanced us in our imperfect ways. But yeah, going back to the Moon is stewardship. I've seen it for people that are stewards of land, stewards of guardianship. I've even seen it people that are like local policemen, like they're protecting their local community, and it's kind of a mother hen role. And people in nurseries that are in mother roles again, caring, nurturing others as well.
Yes.
In any water positions, any water careers and healing careers. Moon is healing, like you said, medical. Sorry, carry on. I take over. I'm shutting up.
No, it's just great how we interact. Yeah, it's all about the Moon. So any profession that would provide emotional security and real estate also, because it rules our home, house, land, anything related to that, and anything related to water. Yes, I was thinking about this as well. And yeah, I will proceed with the collective planets, which are Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. They're actually the higher octaves of Venus, Mercury, and Mars. So yeah, more or less it will be similar to what we said about Venus, Mercury, and Mars, but still, if we have Neptune on the MC, it's very suitable to proceed with artistic endeavors, anything related to music, arts, singing, and also water professions again, because Neptune rules water. So shipyards, anything you can imagine related to water, plumbery, plumage. How is it called in English? I'm not sure. It's
plumbing. I think Pluto
Plumbing,
is also connected to that because that's where the shit goes in the plumbing. So Pluto has part of it to play. Maybe like swimming pools and stuff is Neptune.
yeah, as well. But also, I think that people with Neptune on the midheaven, they just like with people with Neptune on the ascendant, they make great actors because actually they can become anything. They're like chameleons. They can absorb the energies of the character they play, and they can become the character. And also with Neptune on the MC, this person, their energy actually distorts the perception of others, so others see what they project in a way.
Whatever they want to project, yeah.
Yeah, so these people are really like chameleons, so they can work as agents undercover.
Spies and stuff, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because the one thing is they find it the hardest to figure out what their mission is. You see, so
Yes.
like what
They
am I
never know who they are.
And I'm looking at the person, I'm like, you're already in the medical field, you're a doctor, you're healing people, that's it. No, but there must be something else. They're always looking for the ineffable.
It's like, because I think that it's because, you know, I have a Pisces sun, so I feel for these people in a way. It's like we always know there is some deeper meaning, even deeper than what we see. We know that it's like that. Manifesting in the material world is one thing. Okay, I am a doctor, I'm here, I'm walking in this material world, but still I know there is something much deeper than that, and I know this is my true mission. So it's very, very hard to accept that the mission is only related to the material world, you know. So this is why we're always digging deeper and deeper.
They want to save the whole world. There's like
Yes.
Pisces and Neptune conjunct the midheaven. They want to save everyone. You know, they want all embrace. I don't want to just save one client at a time, or I just want to influence everyone, or pull the strings of the whole world invisibly, or just heal the whole world. I want to be Jesus Christ. But I've also seen them in pharmaceuticals, in any chemicals that alter the mind as well. I've seen such people also in medical professions, spiritual professions, of course. That's Neptune, and oil, and such. Yeah.
Alcohol industry.
I've seen people that actually put in positions, but they're playing as a stooge. Is that the right thing? The strings are being moved by someone else. They're like a front page or something, and they're not the real boss. And I've seen someone who was a ghostwriter, for example, with Neptune there, for other people as well. It's something hidden that they do, or something behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. So with Neptune also, just like with Jupiter, but in another way, a little bit more different. People need to learn to put limits. Yeah, but as we already said, it's really difficult. They want to just embrace the humanity. So it's very difficult for them. You know, the unity of all things.
Yeah, they're a bit unrealistic as well about how to go about achieving what they want. And I have my brother who has this, it's Pisces midheaven. It's not exactly Neptune, but Pisces. And he's like, calls me sometimes, says, okay, I have a business plan. We're going to make my daughter-in-law a very famous singer. And here is the business plan. And this is how, and you need to give me $100,000 to make that. I'm like, okay. Okay, I know I told you to go into music and stuff, but you know, let's not run ahead with ourselves, you know. So it's good to learn more practical approaches and more realistic ones as well.
Yeah, and because the opposite of Pisces is actually Virgo, learn to plan step by step. So this will outbalance it in a way. Okay, so we'll proceed with Pluto, which is the higher octave of Mars. So anything related to pregnancy, investments, finance, stock markets, as we said, and death. So could be related to Pluto related professions. So intelligence services, again, it's digging deep, psychology as well. So all these professions that require a lot of research, being behind the scenes, doing the dirty work, and yeah, finding ways to transform what's negative into something positive.
Purges,
So
yeah.
yeah, purging.
Occultists, people in astrology. I think
Yeah.
all these outer planets, Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus, would give people in pretty unusual careers, a pretty cutting edge or new or taboo careers with Pluto taboo, forbidden,
Yeah.
things you don't talk about. You don't talk about death. You don't talk about sex. You don't talk about hidden conspiracies and occult things. People with Pluto there, that's what they'll want to do.
Yes, absolutely. They find it fascinating. They just want to dig deep into topics which are not known.
Or which make other people cringe. Let's talk about pedophile rings. And Satan is
And yeah, and also all these tantra and yeah, all these topics related to spiritual sex and sexual energy, and how you can transform it into
and I've noticed almost always if someone has Pluto close to the midheaven, they all almost always come into power in some way. Sooner or later, they
yes.
just Pluto needs to be in control, or Scorpio there. Sooner or later, they get their way there like a snake goes up.
Yeah, but also, of course, it depends on the aspects. But Pluto on the midheaven can also talk for really abusive behavior from the father's side very often in the early years. So the person, these people themselves, they had to transform, so they know how to do it. They went through certain things, so they can become the healers of the society as well, in a way.
When they learned how to take their power back, they teach others through their or they can become abusers to others. I mean, they can become the abusive boss that is like on you, reading your emails
behind their back.
Did you do that?
What are you looking at, and so on. Yeah.
What's this on your screen?
Yeah.
Have a naked body? No.
This can be frustrating, I can imagine, but of course it's always our choice and our will, this 25% that we have to choose. Well, if not to choose the circumstances, how we were grown up and where we lived and who are our parents, at least we can choose how to transform at a later point, and how to heal this so that we can take our power back. I watched a video. I don't know if you know about this teen show, I think was her name. She had a very tough, rough start in life.
Teal Swan?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Oh, yes, of course.
She actually became a healer, and she has Sun conjunct Pluto in the 12th house. And
well, she was ritually abused by her uncle, and she passed through those satanic rings where they do unthinkable things to children, and by overcoming and transmuting that incredible inhumane pain and darkness that she saw, now she's one of the best spiritual teachers out there. She's like otherworldly almost.
She has lots of planets in Gemini, and Mercury in the 12th in Gemini. So she's able, it's like this was her mission to come, to live through that. I don't want to say it, it's nobody's mission to go through that, but it's like she chose to transform it, and she was able to make this choice, and she earned her power back, actually.
That's true. So this, what we're talking, what Tsveti is talking about, planets conjunct the midheaven, can very much be also planets conjunct the sun, because the sun, like, it's your mission. So you can interpret it in the same way. But yeah, Pluto in the midheaven can have like a tough mission here to do really the most scary work. Or in positive or negative way. You know,
Yeah.
it can be the people in the deep government that are doing scary stuff and planning, you know, conniving plans for control. These can be the people that are healing others, transforming, revealing those secrets, revealing the shadow of others, making you confront or bringing out uncomfortable topics to the surface that people want to forget about. But before we reach the highest, you need to transform that shadow side. Okay, Uranus.
Uranus, this is my favorite. It's in my first house, so I love it.
Oh.
It's all about astrology on the first place. And it's all about the IT, communications, television, because it's the higher octave of Mercury. So it's also rules the 11th house. And it's all about humanitarian activities as well. It's about causes, and people with Uranus on the MC, they cannot work for somebody else. They need to find their own tribe. So yeah, I would say they are self-starters and they are the innovators. So
yeah, I have Uranus conjunct midheaven exactly. So
okay.
I have my own tribe. I with all my previous bosses, it just didn't work. I could not. I was clashing with my dad. Of course, I would clash with my bosses as well. So it's they have to do what they want to do. They kind of, you can't tell them what to do. They don't.
They need
That's
to
what I
feel
want type of.
yeah, it's like they need to feel free, and until they realize it, maybe at the early ages, they change so many careers, and then they find out it's just not possible to work for anybody else. They need to just do what they want and how they see things. And because it's Uranus, they are visionaries. They really have great ideas. So yeah.
Innovators, yeah, they do things differently. Often it can be astrology, the occult, in some weird professions, or cutting edge, something that is quite novel, quite unusual, almost alternative sometimes, and no schedule. No
schedule, yes. No schedule for Uranus, absolutely. So yeah, more or less, this is it.
Do you know the notes? Do you use them?
The notes, yes, I use them. I use them.
Maybe use them psychologically. I
use them more psychologically, and I use them as a duality, not separately the North Node or the South Node, because I believe and I noticed in my own life that not one single planet works only in the sign it is. It always works in duality with the opposite sign. So I am not a fan of saying that the South Node is something that we need to let go of forever, and the North Node is something that we need to develop. I think they both work together. So we need to have the South Node as a sound basis for what we are going to develop later. So, for example, I can give my own example. I have a South Node in Aquarius and a North Node in Leo. And actually, in order to shine, I need to do something for the group. And then I shine within the group. This is something that has always happened in my life. This is a repeating model.
Can you put it to the 12 signs in another video, your perspective from the notes? Because yes. I really loved your perspective. This is something I just hear, and it was like, wow, that makes so much sense, and I got goosebumps. So maybe our next video should be you talking how to balance both the North and South nodes.
Oh, it's a great topic. I love it.
Yeah,
it's a really great topic. It's a huge one. It can take 2 days webinar to prepare all the notes and through all the signs, and there are so many theories. But yeah, I think that it's very important to not to give up on the South node and just focus on the North node, because it's actually a whole dragon. You cannot cut the head and only live with the tail, or vice versa. And
you need to eat and you need to poop, so
yeah, just absolutely. But yeah, it's just we need to look at the balance in a wider scale, not only at this very moment of our life what we choose to do. Sometimes it's good to be in your comfort zone because you're so much caught upon other things that it's good to have a safe place to rest.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if we look on the whole picture, it's important that we develop both. Yeah.
That makes so much sense. Thank
Yeah.
you. But I want to mention, if you have Rahu or the North Node in the 10th house, according to Vedic astrology, Rahu rules technology, new developments, because it's progressive.
Oh.
So such kind of more technological, more cutting edge. It's kind of Uranian energy influence. And if you have the South Node there, it's more spiritual in influence. So almost like even if you're not in a spiritual field, you need often people then do their mission as a calling to sacrifice to the whole world for some kind of a higher spiritual mission of sorts. But often they're not even interested in positions of authority. They often are placed there, but it's almost like I've been there, I've done that. I'm not too much into it, but at the same time, they're quite natural and quite good at that. They always almost get given such positions of authority. And if they do it from a source of non-attachment and a source of, I'm doing it for the great, a source of sense of like sacrifice, then they can have great success. While Rahu in the 10th house or MidHeaven, it's kind of selfish position. They're very self-promoting. They want to achieve high up, and often they do. Often they shoot up, and am I talking about you?
Yes, look at me.
and they can have sudden rise. With Rahu, is like they start in one field and they don't have to go like, oh, the way everyone goes. They can suddenly go from here to there, sudden rise. This is the Rahu. And they have a strong passion towards career. So a strong passion towards achievements. And
Yeah.
I think that especially after in one's mid-40s, one can have their own business with Rahu. And usually Rahu is something that changes very rapidly. They change from one career to another, but it's a very different one.
You're talking about me.
Oh, okay. And Donald Trump also has it, businessman and politician. And they can have great success very fast. So what were you before, Tsveti? What were you doing before that?
Well, I have been an interpreter.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I was a journalist. And then I was PR. And
Oh,
then
wow.
I switched to internal communications.
You're doing a
And
lot of
then
Gemini Mercury jobs. So what's with that?
yeah, I did. I never thought it could be the North Node causing all these changes. I was wondering why I am so driven to changes, but I also have Jupiter conjunct Mars in the 10th conjunct the Node. So maybe this is it. Yeah, a huge thing. But yeah, and then after the internal communications job, I switched to healthcare. I am in clinical trials. So yeah, and now I'm in astrology.
Wow. Okay, that's
Totally
Rahu.
different.
Rahu sheds its skin all the time. Rahu is known in Vedic astrology as master of disguise, and as someone who can basically uh, it wants to experiment. It wants to try new things. Rahu is the new. So, and it suddenly is like, and sometimes it's scary, Rahu in the 10th, because they're not. They thought, they don't stay in the same role forever. That's the thing with them. They Rahu is sudden changes. It has the quality of Uranus, as I say often, and in Vedic astrology it rules Aquarius. Interestingly enough, while Ketu rules Scorpio. It's associated with Scorpio, shedding of the old, excreting your past insecurities and stuff. While Aquarius and Rahu is future oriented and let's change things up. Let's experiment and try something new. But anyway, thank you so much, Tsveti. It was a great topic. You brought up some very interesting things that I love discussing with you. That you mentioned, and I hope people enjoyed that and you learned. You can write to Tsveti. She's part of our team already. She's offering readings for super accessible price for 30 minutes, $80. She can do them live or recorded, however you prefer. And I'm telling you, she is exceptional. Yeah, I mean, now she did a presentation, but just if she looks at your chart, she was telling this person's spouse is most likely in this career. This person has such and such problems in relationships. I was so fascinated. So, but we're making a special offer for answer to one question with Tsveti, that is $80, and focused on career. But if you want another question specific, you can ask her to shift it when you order. So there you go. It's open for 2 weeks. Welcome, Tsveti, aboard. I'm so happy to have you, and good luck.
Thank you, Lada. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, I hope we make a great team. Yeah.